Hey, what's up, everybody? I got a 2005 Volvo XC90. It's a 2.5 liter with a turbo and inline 5-cylinder. And we're doing the axle shaft on the passenger side. So this is going to be the long axle shaft right here. That's it right there. But this is going to be the longer out of the two. And then we got our lower control arm right there. And show you why we are doing such things. That's basically what we're doing today. Just the axle shaft and lower control arm. Let me put on some headgear. But so there's our ball joint. I mean, the bushing for the control arm is basically tore, ripped, it's gone. Alright, so I'm going to set you up here. Bam! So you guys can see what's going on. Okay, so for this right here, you got I'm gonna just go ahead and kind of walk you through it right quick. This is a 21 millimeter right there on the top. Down here, that's gonna be an 18 on the bottom. So you got you a 21 right there, 18 on the bottom right here. This is gonna be a 14. You need to take that out. On the back side of this, you have two 17 millimeters. I'm gonna just walk you through the lower control arm right quick. So there they are right there. Those two 17s I was telling you about right here. Now these lines are gonna be in the way. So what you got to do, they got these clips right here. Just pop them out and pop them out right here, and then just push them up along with this cable right here, this black cable, which is also going to be in there. And that will, because otherwise that line is going to be kind of blocking that bolt right there a little bit. There's your 18 right here on the bottom. Like I said, there's a 21 on top. This right here is a 21. These two are 14s right here and here. That's for your lower ball joint. And then that's basically it as far as the removal on the lower control arm. But I'm gonna walk you through it though. Now down here there's a splash shield, which is right there. That has a bunch of 13 millimeter sockets. And for the axle shaft, once you pop out that front nut right there, that 14 on the front, you're gonna have two 13s right here, 1, 2 right here, and then all you got to do is just pull the shaft out right here. So it's it looks pretty easy, but it seems like the easy jobs sometimes turn out to be the hard jobs. We'll see. Actually, this one should be pretty cut and clear, cut and dry. Doesn't look like it's really rusty or nothing. So let's get to it. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do is take out that 14 axle nut right here. Well, axle bolt, I guess. Take that out. Next thing I'm gonna do, just because I've got this 14 on here right now, I'm gonna take out the two 14 millimeters on the bottom of the ball joint. Those off. Go ahead and get my 21. I'm gonna take the 21 off the bottom of the ball joint. And then I'm gonna just put it on there like hand tight, so we don't damage the threads here in the process. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do these two 17s right back here. See if I can So here's that 21 I took off right here. And there's I took off those two 14s. They go right in here. And got the swivel. Going for these 17s right here. Right there. Boom. See right there. And again, see how they gotta take this line out right here. Kind of fell back in there. Okay, now I'm gonna hit that 18 right there while holding with the 21 on top. So you gonna have to hold with the 21 on top, but see if I can do it by hand. Not this time. Let's see. Actually, I think I'm gonna use a wrench for this. Boom, that's that. And now it's just held in by the ball joint on the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is hit it with the hammer. Down. Now I do have freaking well, I can use a pickle for it, and I also have something to shit's almost off. What I'm also gonna do right here, I know the axle shaft is coming out. I'm gonna go on ahead, take them 213s off the back, and just pull this, so I can pull this control arm out, and I can play with it. Give me some wiggle room. Oops. 14 hits. I think they're like 12. Yeah. 12. I think my battery about to die here on this camera too. So I just went there and busted those loose. So I'm taking out these two 12s. There you go. Push the plate. I'll just set that down. Okay, now I can pretty much move that axle around, and I'm gonna have a little more room to play with now. Just set that there. Okay, so now okay, so what I've done now is there's an 18mm right here on this tie rod, on the outer tie rod. I went ahead and took the 18 off top, and then just held this down with an adjustable wrench in case it starts spinning. So you have to hold this down, and then turn this with a, I just used a like a ratchet gear wrench. Okay, so now, and then pull. Then I just pulled this out, the bushing part out of it. So once you take that tie rod off, that tie rod in, then you can pull it out. And I just do that because it gives me more room. So then I can come over here, bam, that's, yo, what up, babe?
I thought you were sleeping. I was going to leave a voicemail.
Nah, I'm making this video. Hold on. Okay, so I had a phone call, but anyway, so that's why I take off the tie rod right here, and then I can pull this bushing part out of this little groove up here in the frame, and then I can drop it down, and like I had it right here, and then it can gives you access to the other side to hit it from the other side. Bam, it came off. Now at this point, I didn't have to take out these two 14s right here, unless you're replacing a ball joint. This one seems pretty good. It's nothing to replace it. All you got to do is just you can either stick a chisel in here and hammer right here, pry it out. You could put this on right here, pull down with it. A couple of different things you can do. to get that ball joint out. Now when you push this ball joint back in order to get it in, you could put like a really big adapter right here, or like a big socket, and you want to put a big socket right here, like an axle nut socket, and then just, you know what I'm saying, hammer it in like that. Or you could, you know what I'm saying, put this nut on, hammer it in right there. Use like a plastic hammer, a rubber or copper, brass, something like that, to be sure not to damage these threads. You don't want to damage those. Now as far as this is right here, what I did is just took a just hit it through here. Now first what you got to do is, in here you're gonna have this rubber stopper right here. So I mean, what I did is I usually take the air hammer with the needle nose tip, and just, you know, knock it through this way. And now you can do that and knock this right here. See, I hit it on the front. I knocked it all the way through. So I mean, if you just knock it all the way through, that's fine. That's fine. All you got to do is just, you know, just take it, bam, reinsert it right here when you're, you know, just knock it all the way through. That's fine. But you can also, you know, take like a screwdriver and just pry it out from the front. Just whatever you want to do, you know what I'm saying? There's a million ways to do this right here. You know, just like a lot, you don't have to take this tie rod off. You know what I'm saying? I do that because that's how I fucking want to do it. It's how I do shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, and then, you know, you take the tie rod off, and you can move you got so much more free play with stuff. Now this right here, all I'm gonna do is just yank it out by using a pry bar. Let's see. And over here, and you just want to pry it right here. So just stick your pry bar right here between the axle. And you might want to see, I got this car jacked up like really freaking high. So if you don't, then there it is right there. That's all you got to do. Now if you don't have it jacked up really high, then you might see some transmission fluid come out from the transmission right there. If you don't have it jacked up like I do. So if it's like on a level surface, then yeah, you might see a little transmission fluid come out. So have your little catch pan there, just in case. Now anyway, so I think I'm not gonna replace that ball joint. But boom, there's your lower control arm. There's that bushing jacked up. It was actually, wow, look at that. Yeah, that was totally gone. There's that, and then there's that's how you replace the axle shaft. The shop told these people they needed another axle shaft. I guess they were hearing some clunking noises when they were turning, but damn, it looks good to me. Shit. And let's see, I'm just looking. Okay, so there are the new parts right there. Old part, new part. Looks the same. Come over here, and it does have the exciter ring here, like wheel speed sensor, ABS. But anyways, so those are two identical parts. Alright, so boom, now let's put it all back together. Okay, installation is just opposite of removal. I'm going to start with the axle shaft. So just slide it on in. Put my little my 12s. Put my little plate back on here. Okay, now I want to do the lower ball joint and this axle shaft at the same time, but also it's like really dry and rusty on the inside of the spindle. So like right there is see how dry that is? Look like your grandmama cooter, huh? Look like your grandma coochie and shit, but you see she dry, real dry. Rusty. So I'ma juice it down. Put some lubricant. I'm about to shoot my juices all in that hole. Like this. Damn. That's bad. That's a bad shot. Money shot right there, huh? Alright, but anyway. A little axle grease won't hurt. So slide that in there. This in here. I think my battery about to die here. Oopsie. So usually what I do is I just start it right here where my bushing goes into the frame, and then get this splining, the axle, get the axle shaft splining right here with the hub, so that whenever you turn it, then you see, you know, like the rotor and everything turning also at the same time, and then put your ball joint in last. So, bam. All right. And probably what I'm gonna do is kind of tap it. Before I tighten everything down, I'm gonna just get everything hand tight here. Okay. Maybe get that ball joint in there. Okay. So, I got that hand tight. I'm about to tighten these up. Fucking line getting in the way again. Just hold it up out the way. Alright, so I can actually put my lines back now. So I got those 217s back in. So now I'm going for this 18mm on the bottom. I'm gonna hold it with this 21. Bang. Good money. I'm gonna put that outer tie rod on last. Next thing I want to do, get this ball joint. I'm gonna take this lower control arm, pull it down. Now, what you can do if you got problems here is lower the car down. Put your jack stand right here on the bottom of this rotor, and then it's gonna lift up, or you can compress this spring. If you compress this spring right here, then it'll lift, you know what I'm saying, your rotor up. And then instead of trying to fight this down right here with like a pry bar or something like that, which is what I'm gonna do, is pull it down with a pry bar and then stick my little ball joint inside the hole. Alright, so got a little control arm in there. And alright, let me tell you. Okay, so I guess I got some explaining to do here. Mainly about this shit right here. Okay, so I put the ball joint on first, then try to slide, you know, these. Of course, when you do that, your ball joint is gonna be having these at an angle right here, so they're gonna like be facing this way. So when you put the screw in through the back, it's not gonna thread in correctly. You probably can't even catch them. Same thing over here. Your bushing is gonna get caught on the your bushing right here is gonna get caught on the frame. So it's gonna come in at an angle. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come in like this, and it's gonna hit the frame, and it's gonna be a bitch, a fucking bitch to go in there. So I said, okay, wait. You know what I'm saying? I just hand tighten this, so boom, took this off. Went ahead and put these on, but I didn't tighten them all the way. I just like hand tighten them. All right, then to get this lower control arm, ball joint into the lower control arm, rather. This is what I did. Put a jack stand right here up under the rotor. Before you do that, you got to make sure you got your tie rod. At least hand tighten your tie rod. So put your 18mm back on top of your tie rod, and then tighten this down right here to make sure the axle's gonna kind of suck it in. Tie rod's holding it in, because what's gonna happen is if you lower the jack, okay, on lower the jack, boom, have your jack stand right here. When you lower it, this is gonna tend to want to come out or go backwards. but you want it like to stay right here, lined up with the ball joint. So as you lower it down, this rotor is gonna push up, compress the spring. Okay, so then at that time, you're gonna, you know, it's gonna raise the ball joint above the lower control arm. Or actually, you're still gonna need a big ass pry bar. And what I did is I used a pry bar and put it against the axle shaft. Actually I put it against the axle shaft and the tie rod, and then push down with the pry bar. And then all you got to do is then put your lower ball joint, just line it up with the hole. Once you get it in there, let go of your pry bar so that it's in the hole, and then jack it up. As you jack it up, then your ball joint is going to fall into the lower control arm. If it does not, by the time you have released full tension off of your rotor, come right here with a hammer and just hit it, and then you know what I'm saying, this your lower control arm would just slide on top of the ball joint, and that's it. And then come back here and you're gonna have to push out your dust shield, you know what I'm saying, if you smashed it up like I did. So that's it though. I mean, that's it. And then as far as your axle shaft, you know what I'm saying, just put your plate back up there with your two 12mm bolts, and that's it. And then we'll just put the cover back on, which is right over there. So I'm gonna just put the cover back on. There's a couple 13mm bolts. Put this tire on, and we're gonna send this motherfucker on down the road. This is a motherfucking Volvo XC90, and 2.5 liter with a turbo. And man, if you don't have the spring compressor right here, that spring compressor is gonna fucking help you a lot. You know, so if you ever do this job right here, you don't have that spring compressor, you're gonna have to either lower. I tried, you know, say if you can lower it down on the tie rod right here too, but it's gonna usually tend to pull backwards this way. The whole strut assembly and everything is gonna tend to pull towards the back. So just lower it down real easy and shit. But anyways, appreciate you watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and have a nice day. Peace.